Hi, everybody. I wanted to give a update about what we did yesterday. We had a number of volunteers, and we went to an event to expose the USMCA deal. And we went to an event with Congressman Jeff Duncan speaking and U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. And as you can see here, uh, Congressman Jeff Duncan recently wrote a letter in support of the USMCA, saying President Trump won in 2016 based on his promise to pursue trade deals that prioritize American workers and industries. The USMCA outlines stronger rules of origin in manufacturing and ensures that South Carolina's agricultural exports, which are valued at more than $751 million, are guaranteed a market in Canada and Mexico. With more than 6,000 jobs across the Palmetto State focused on agricultural exports, it is critical that Nancy Pelosi stop stonewalling and allow this debate in Congress. He says the USMCA also impacts manufacturing, another key industry for our state, by incentive the manufacturing of even more goods and materials. Last year, South Carolina exported more than $33.9 billion in manufactured goods. Under the USMCA, those numbers would only go up and ensure more high-paying jobs are created here at home. I'm not going to go on and read the rest of that, but that just goes to show you where Congressman Jeff Duncan stands on the USMCA. Um, it was announced at the start of the event that it's the Republicans versus the Socialists. That was the rallying call for the people that were there at the event. And it was interesting because there's even a guy that was there dressed in military attire that was handing out interest or intro to the Socialist Rifle Association. So he was recruiting people there into this rifle association that's for socialists. It says here, who we are. The Socialist Rifle Association is a multi-tendency organization dedicated to aiding and protecting the right of the working class to access tools and information in service of their protection from both state and capital. If you are a socialist, communist, anarchist, progressive, activist, socialist justice warrior, immigrant, LGBTQ, or anyone else concerned by the rising tide of fascism and corporate power, we need you to support SRA, which is the Socialist Rifle Association, for a stronger left and a brighter future. So yeah, there are people that are not in the Republican Party. I don't think this guy that was there, there was more than one. There was more than one volunteer for that. I don't think they recruited anybody into their Socialist Rifle Association. So there is a disagreement amongst the Republican Party and these others that are much more Marxist than the Republican Party. But let's not forget that the Republican Party, I'm going to pull up something here so you can all see it, is not a haven for individual liberty. I mean, the Republican Party is a socialist entity, and it's a different kind of socialism than Marxism. It's led by Trotskyites, and this is a different form of socialism. You can even go through Lindsey Graham's votes on the New American Freedom Index and see that he's a socialist. It's easy to pick out votes that he gets wrong. When there's a red X that shows that it was a bad unconstitutional vote, and it'll tell you why the vote was unconstitutional. But he's got so many red votes. He does not obey his oath to the Constitution. But as you go through, I mean, there is just a ton of votes for socialism. I mean, Lindsey Graham is better at stealing money from us Americans than just about any other congressman in the United States of America. And he steals it from us and he gives it to those that probably deliver financial contributions to his campaigns, which is why his his budget is just filled with, he can spend a few $1 million on a campaign and not have to worry about it. And he also, controls the Republican Party in South Carolina, which is obvious to those of us that have watched it for the past few years. But he's obviously a socialist. Now, a different kind of socialist, though, than the Marxists. And so that's what we're seeing right now being played out. And it is something we should all worry about. But the USMCA deal, guess what? It is a deal for both the socialists that are Trotskyites and the socialists that are Marxists. And anyways, we those of us who volunteered yesterday, and a lot of the people that volunteered were John Birch Society members, and that's who I work for. I'm an employee of the John Birch Society. I am a field coordinator. And what we handed out were these Slim Jims. And if you read that, it's hard to see here, but the UMCA bulldozes American independence. So most of the people there got something from us, and this is one of the items they were given, and it warns people about what's in the USMCA. And of course, Jeff Duncan, the congressman who was speaking, he supports it. Lindsey Graham, I haven't found anything that says he supports it or is against it. I'm guessing he's going to come out in support of it. He's supporting President Donald Trump and everything that he's doing. So it'd really surprise me if he went against the USMCA. But here's what's in the USA, or the US-Mexico-Canada agreement. So the USMCA is not a military acronym. It's the acronym for US-Mexico-Canada agreement. And what we're warning people about in this Slim Jim, these are very cheap, by the way. So if you want to go to events in your area and hand these out, you can buy these from the shopjbs.org website. I'm going to show you how to do that here in a little bit. Chapter 17 and 23 grants migrant workers labor protections and allows an unlimited number of such workers. So basically, if we get into the USMCA, this wall that Trump is supposedly building isn't going to work, because guess what? We're giving up our rights to the flow of migration in the USMCA. So this flies in the face of everything that Trump has promoted as a presidential candidate, because I remember being at a Trump event where he, got everybody to chant, build a wall, build a wall. I mean, that was the chant, and he's still saying he's going to build a wall, and I know some of it is being built, but if he goes and do this USMCA deal and passes it, this is actually going completely against everything that he's stood for on building a wall. Chapter 23 on here. You may be able to see that there on the video camera, dictates employer regulations such as LGBTQ policies. Currently, the federal government, there's no federal law that dictates to corporations or churches and any organization LGBTQ policies. But this USMCA deal is going to do that. Chapter 26. Economic integration of North America. How many of you that are Americans think that sounds great? Economic integration. Have we not watched to see what's happened to Britain the past few years? I mean, what's happened to Britain has been a disaster. They're part of the European Union. They voted to get out of it, and they can't even Brexit. I mean, they've voted to Brexit, and they can't even Brexit. That's how entangled they are due to free trade agreements such as which is similar to what the USMCA is. This is what the New World Order folks, the globalists that want to destroy freedom in the world, this is their main tool right now. Because if you have economic integration, and it's not free trade, don't let them fool you. They call it free trade. It is government controlled trade, and that's why the John Birch Society. Guess what? The John Birch Society is right now, just like with the Trans-Pacific Partnership a few years ago, we're the only ones exposing this, and that's incredible to me as an American, because it blows my mind that it has to be the John Birch Society every time that exposes this before any other organization steps up to the plate. And usually, I mean, sometimes it's just us till the end. We are an organized group across the United States of America, and we have volunteers all over the place, and this is one of the we are here to stop the free trade agenda. which is not free trade like some people think it's free trade. It is government-controlled trade. Chapter 30, U.S. submission to global bodies. So we're giving up our sovereignty for submission to global bodies. How does that sound to everybody listening to this? As Americans, American stands for sovereignty. I mean, we have independence, right? Well, President Trump is pushing a trade deal that will allow for the U.S. submission to global bodies without our authority. How about that? Chapter 30, it allows for layers of unaccountable global bureaucracy. Don't we have enough bureaucracy already? Do we really need the USMCA to bring us more bureaucracy in America? I mean, we're getting destroyed by bureaucracy. So that just adds to the belief or the truth that the USMCA deal is going to help destroy America if it's passed. Chapter 30, ability to change agreement without Congress. All power is supposed to be with our congressman, right? Isn't that Jeff Duncan? He's always upset about the Democrats, right? He wants to call a convention of states because there's so many congressmen not obeying the Constitution without even telling people. And I'm going to show you this here because I showed you already Lindsey Graham's his score on the Freedom Index, but let me show you here. This is Congressman Jeff Duncan's, and if you see here, if you look at the score breakdown at the top here, you will see that his score started at 87% when he first entered Congress, and the last score he got was 71%. And so if you go down, so he's not obeying the Constitution, and I've given him a hard time about this. He has always has an excuse on why he didn't obey the Constitution. But he is destroying America with a lot of his votes. Just look at the red marks as you're going down here. Oh, agricultural crop subsidies, more subsidies for big corporations that run farms, and he voted for that. So right there, in one vote, Congressman Jeff Duncan is a socialist. I mean, to say that it's Republicans versus socialism, that's a bunch of baloney because guess what? Oh, who voted to give $3.29 billion to the World Accountability Bank? I mean, where is this authorized in the Constitution for the World Accountability Bank to get my money? That's a bunch of baloney. This is socialism. This is globalism. This is anti-American. And guess what? Congressman Jeff Duncan voted for it. We are being fed lies by the Republican Party. We are being destroyed because we are not educated enough on what's going on. And guess what? The John Birch Society is the only organization that is educating people about the USMCA. Most Republicans have no idea what the USMCA is. Most Tea Party members, the Tea Party is pretty much dead. Rand Paul announced that a few days ago. He's right. The Tea Party is dead. But guess what? The John Birch Society, we've been here since 1958. We're still around, and we're still doing exactly what Robert Welch, our founder, told us to do when he started the organization in 1958. We're not named after a wood company. We are named after a Christian missionary who was from Georgia, who was killed by Chinese communists. He was the man who saved Jimmy Doolittle when he crash landed into China. Isn't that great? Fantastic to be named after such a person. And John Birch's parents actually gave the blessing to Robert Welch to name the society after John Birch. Okay, for people who were at the event, a lot of them got this. This is something that we've mailed out to a lot of people throughout the United States. It's interesting because we did mail these out to the donors of a lot of our congressmen. And if you look at the donors of our congressmen here in South Carolina, for instance, we delivered them to when Mark Sanford was a congressman. We delivered them out to his donors. Well, most of his donors were not living in South Carolina. And that's interesting, right? Look at Congressman Trey Gowdy, who I know Congressman Trey Gowdy is no longer a congressman, but if you look at his donors, most of his donors were not from South Carolina. So why are these people so willing to donate to people in the state of South Carolina when they don't even live here. Congressman Trey Gowdy was not the congressman for most people that donated to him, because these are special interests that are donating to him. And I hate to single out Mark Sanford and Trey Gowdy. Mark Sanford, by the way, scored 100% on the last Freedom Index when his last session in Congress. But um, anyways, this pamphlet gave all these people who give money to our congressmen an education on what the free trade agenda is. It explains that NAFTA, helped to try to destroy. We are not destroyed yet. We are still here, but helped to try to destroy the United States of America through a trade deficit, through NAFTA tribunals. It's increased our cost of living in America. And so these are the things that this gives facts about. We are giving facts. It is not a theory. It is facts that NAFTA helped to try to destroy the United States of America. That's why Henry Kissinger called it a building block for the New World Order. NAFTA for him, and he's still alive. And so, I mean, you can just Google it. Henry Kissinger said he's a globalist. He wants to destroy freedom. It's against God. Anyways, this is an item that is for sale on shopjbs.org. I handed it to Congressman Joe Wilson. And Congressman Joe Wilson, from my estimation, will not read it, because he was completely in support of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He seems to be, you can't even have a conversation with Congressman Joe Wilson on this topic usually, because he really, I've asked him about his votes before, and he can't even remember his votes. I mean, what is wrong when we have congressmen that can't even remember how they voted? But maybe there's a chance he'll read it. I gave him one. It's about $1 if you buy him a book. So it contains multiple articles about why the USMCA is a bad deal. And we're going to deliver these out to most of the people in the audience. These did not arrive at my house on time because I had these delivered. But this is the newest reprint, and we're gonna be giving these out all throughout South Carolina, Georgia, Western North Carolina, and I'm sure the other field coordinators that have jobs like me, they're going to be getting their volunteers to do the same. But this is an article that helps people to understand that the USMCA is just part of the project for a North American Union. How many Americans want to be part of a North American Union? Do you really want to be part of Canada and Mexico? I mean, Canada and Mexico are socialists. I mean, I know we're soft. We're part of a soft fascist, government at this point here in America. We really are. I mean, we are. Look at all the taxes we give. I mean, it is hard to make a living and raise a family for the average American right now, and it's even impossible for most. I mean, think about all the kids that are coming out of college that have all this student loan debt, and then they're wanting to raise a family. Not going to happen. They can't afford to. They're living in their parents' basement. And I know there's a lot of jobs, but it's not as well paying as it used to be. This is a false economy. It's completely being inflated by the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve is an anti-American organization. It's not owned by Americans. If you have got questions about that, just read The Creature of Jekyll Island. But anyways, we're going to be delivering these all over the place to expose the USMCA. And feel free to call me if you want some more information about this. You can actually Google or DuckDuckGo, as I would recommend. Put in parentheses USMCA and the quest for North American Union, end of parentheses. And that's how you can easily access this. Go to thenewamerican.com. That's the John Birch Society magazine that we deliver and we have online. I told you I'd show you how to shop on our website. So if you go to shopjbs.org, I'm going to go back to home here, and you click on Action Projects, Stop the Free Trade Agenda. You will find everything that exposes the USMCA, I think, right here on the front page, because our newest items usually are here at the top. You can buy a Stop USMCA NAFTA Action Pack. It's only $9.95. You will be the most educated person in your area if you go through that. I mean, I guarantee that you will you will throw your congressman for a loop if you set up a meeting with your congressman. By the way, if you want to set up a meeting with your congressman, all you have to do is call their scheduler. And right now they're all on recess. And so call their scheduler in Washington, D.C., call the number there. And you can ask me questions about this if you got questions. And feel free to call me 864-804-0789. Again, that's 864-804-0789. Or you can tweet me on Twitter, Evan Mulch, EvanMulch. Anyways, I wanted to make this video because I'm so happy that we had volunteers yesterday that were willing to hand this out. This is a brave thing to do because we are living in a falling empire. And the only way to save this is if we tell the truth about what's taking place. And this is what Congressman Jeff Duncan and U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham are not going to do. They're not going to tell the truth. I've watched these guys for years. They're disobeying the Constitution. They're socialists themselves. But maybe they will change. And that's our hope sometimes. But maybe they won't. And if they don't change, we're just going to keep falling apart as a constitutional republic. And it's up to you and me as Americans to take action and to save our inheritance. This is our inherited land. This is our inherited government. It actually works if we obey the Constitution, but we have too many people in power that are elected officials that lie to our faces and that tell us that they're going to fix everything, and what they're really doing is furthering destroy everything. We have 20-some trillion in debt. We just, saw our Republican representatives vote for the largest largest budget deal in U.S. history. I mean, good luck to our kids, right? Good luck to our future grandkids. I mean, they don't have a chance with this, and the dollar. Good luck to it because it just doesn't look likely with the inflation, with the socialism. Interesting thing last night. Lindsey Graham asked the people in the audience to raise their hands if they were on Medicare, and it looked like maybe 20 to 30% of the audience raised their hand to say they're on Medicare. That's socialist healthcare right there. And he just was aghast immediately. And I think I've seen him do this before. And he goes, "We need more young people." Well, you know what, Lindsey Graham, great. Great idea. We need more young people, but quit making it so darn hard to raise families in America. You're the problem. Don't act like it's not your fault, Lindsey Graham. It is your fault for the situation we're in. You spent all our money on unlimited wars that were for spreading democracy, which is spreading socialism. You are, doing contrary to what Americans are supposed to do, and you're pretending to be the hero right now. It's election time. We know what people like you do. You're just trying to get people to vote for you. Anyways, God bless all of you that have listened to this. I plan to do more videos like this. Please like the video, subscribe to it, hit the bell so you get more of these as they come out. But I just wanted to do this to help alert people to what's going on. Please help us expose the USMCA. We got to stop this. God bless you once again. Thank you so much.